Welcome to this video. I'm Thierry Nivelet from FoxInCloud, and today I'd like to show you how you can learn and understand FoxInCloud using the live tutorial, FoxInCloud live tutorial. The interest of the live tutorial is that you can see the code running in this application. You can see the code, and this code can run either online or locally on your development platform. And you can see in this tutorial, you can see examples of any adaptation. Everything that you're wondering that how to adapt is explained here. And you can also see the support feature of FoxInCloud, like the controls, events, how to update data, how to report, how to manage the keyboard shortcuts. And you have even more here. In this menu, you have even more support like Google Maps, signature, digital signature, image upload, how to send an image to the application, Internet Explorer, like here, the tree view, which is supported in another mode, etc., etc. So you have a lot of different features that you can see, and the benefit of that is you can use two different renderings. You can use a classic rendering like here, which means that the forms is generated very similar to the original FoxPro form. Like here you can see the FoxPro form, and you can compare it to the HTML form that is here. And of course, this classic mode has an absolute positioning. Everything uses left, top, width, and height. And it means that if you resize the browser, you will overlap some part of the application. So that's why you can also see the FoxInCloud live tutorial with the responsive mode. Like here, you just click here, and you can see it in responsive. And in this mode, nothing disappears. If you resize the browser or if you use a smaller browser, everything will automatically adapt to the browser size, including the menu, which is now like the hamburger menu that you probably have seen in many other applications. So the interest also is that you can see the form either as a full page, like here. If you go to the menu, you can see these controls and events form as a full page, which means that it has replaced. Now we have a different URL here, and the form is complete. Now we get back to the original URL, but you can also display it as a child form, like in VFP. And this child form can be moved around, and you can also resize it, like you see here, based on the anchor property. And as you can see here, you're still in the same URL. You don't have to change the URL. You are within, and the top level form, I would say, is still here, just like in VFP. So let's see now how you can display the same form in either the classic mode or the responsive mode. So this form here, you can see it in classic, but you can also switch it to responsive mode, like here. And you can see the same form with the same controls. You can see there is a text box here, we have a text box here, we have an edit box here, we have a combo box here, either with edit. Here you have a real combo, and here you only have a drop-down list. And here you have an edit box, list box, sorry. Here you have a you have a text box with a date value that you can have a calendar from. Here you have a spinner. Here you have a checkbox that is graphic, that you can have an image associated to the checkbox. Here you have the same with the command button, that you see when you click, you change the image just like in FoxPro. And you can have also you can change the read-only feature of everything here, and you can even change the enabled feature here. So you disable everything like in FoxPro, and you can, etc., etc. And if you get back to the classic mode, you have exactly the same controls, like the text box, the edit box. You have the list box here. And you can see that the behavior, you also have a calendar here with a different layout. You have the spinner, like we had a second ago. We have the checkbox here, which is graphic. We have the command button also with the image change when we click. And we can change the read-only. You can see the image here has changed because the read-only image is different. Okay, you can see here all the behavior, which is exactly the same as in FoxPro. So remember, on the FoxInCloud Live tutorial, you can see everything in both modes, either classic or responsive. And you just have to click on a button to switch from one to the other. Now, what is interesting also is that you can review the source code of everything that is running here. Like here, if I go to this modal child form and callback that you can test by yourself, what is interesting is that you have the source code popping up here, and you can just see the source code, which is the FoxPro source code. As you can see, we have the same syntax coloring that you know in FoxPro. And what you can also do is that you can display this in another page. Like here, the full source code that you have here is now in another page so that you can print it simply. You can print the source code if you want to study it. It's very simple. Or you can also, if you just click it, you can have it in a child form that you can resize and you can close. So you have it in here in a child form, or you can also have it in a different tab. And this is true for everything that is available here, so you can see the source code. You can also have more the source code of the full form here. If you are interested in the full form, you can have the source code. So if you simply click, you have it in a child form, and if you control click, you have it in a new page, a new tab in the browser. So here we are. We have the full form code here that is popping up here, which is pretty interesting for you, and you can have it also in another page. Like here, you can see the full. Again, you can print this code like you would do in FoxPro, and you can study it on your own if you want. You can also have some details about a form, like here. If you want to have more details on this form, an explanation of what is happening, you just have to click on this button, and you have this text explaining you what is going on, and you even have the original FoxPro form, which is here represented. You have the screenshot of the original FoxPro form that we will see running in a moment in the VFP IDE. As I told you, this can also run in a VFP IDE. What is interesting also is that you can review. Let's switch to responsive mode just to change. You can also review everything that is in the application independently from the form. You can see everything that is common to the whole application. The main program, which is for the web version of the application, the main program, the server classes, the configuration file, the JavaScript, which is the standard FoxInCloud JavaScript, the JavaScript that is custom to this application, the standard CSS that is generated by FoxInCloud, or the custom CSS that you can have to override what FoxInCloud has done. You can also see the main program of the desktop version of the application. And you can see the environment class that is shared, everything that is shared by the web and desktop application. Environment class, the menu, and the classes, the class library that we have for this application. So let's see, maybe, I don't know which one you prefer. Let's take the menu, okay? So you can see here the menu, that is the menu program that was generated. Obviously, the menu program is adapted. As you can see here, it was adapted by AWJane menu, which is Jane menu adapted to FoxInCloud. So everything that you will see in practice, but you can at least see what's happening. You can see that the instructions defined path are now processed by a FoxInCloud function that is called wmenu, and you can see that it's even localized. It's even localized. Okay. Let's see also, yeah, let's see the standard CSS. So this is the CSS that is generated by FoxInCloud. By the way, it was generated how long? It was generated yesterday by FoxInCloud, and you can see everything that is generated based on the Foxpro form that you have. This is a work that you would have to do if you were writing the application yourself, but FoxInCloud does it for you. So another very important thing is also the FoxInCloud dashboard. The FoxInCloud dashboard tells you everything about the application. It's normally protected for a normal application, but here we have made it public so that you can see what's happening in the application. You can see everything that what this dashboard can tell you. First, you have a global application status that we can see that we have 100% availability for the application, and we have an average response time below 1 second, all included, including the internet transfer, including the browser response time. Everything is all globally 0.92 seconds. You can see that we have had 9 users today, 14 users during the last 24 hours, 46 last week, etc. And for the last 11 months, which is the history we have for this application, we have 1,700 users. And you can see the history of availability for this application. What's interesting here is that you have all the detail of the forms that are running inside this application. Like this form, the log error has a 1.2 response time average. This one has 0.33. This one has 2.2. And you can have detailed response time, how many users you had on this form, and how many requests they've made on this form, and how many warnings you have maybe on this form. Let's see the warnings, by the way. Okay, so you can see here, the warnings are here. Yeah, the response time are a little high, so we issue warnings to tell you that maybe you can do better on this form. Okay, so you have many other information like the screen properties you have, the VFP properties, the public variables. You also have the users. How many users are using your application right now? How many are concurrent users? This one is not, because it has finished 45 minutes ago and it has disconnected, so it's not a user for you. So it doesn't count into the cache history. And you can here you can get a graphic for the usage of your application by week, by month, by everything you would desire. Like here we had more users at a given period in time. And also you have some useful information about the server, like which Windows version you use, how many files you maintain, how much memory you use, etc. So it's a really important, once you're in production, you can really understand what kind of tools FoxInCloud is going to give you to control your application running on the server. And also an interesting feature is what we call the debugger. It's here in the more. You can have what we call the error browser. As you saw on the dashboard, we had some error in the application. So we need to understand why we had these errors. So we have a we have a standard tool that is provided with each FoxInCloud application, which is the error browser. And this error browser presents you the activity on the application, and you can go from error to error. For instance, here, we're going to move to the first error. This error is detailed here, you know, which user has done it, on which server it has happened, and etc. You can understand a lot of things that if you want, we can go straight to the last error, maybe the 286 error, which happened on the 27th of June, which is quite old. We are on the 7th of July today. And okay, we have the detail of this error. The row could not be found in the list. So you can really see what happens in your application here. You can understand, you can see what the user has done before. If it's the same user, what he has done before. Obviously, he's done a lot of things here in this case. And you can change the display, of course. You can have more lines in the page. You can change the page number. You can navigate from one page to the other. You can skip back page, etc., etc. Oh, by the way, this form uses the standard grid pager that you have in FoxInCloud. This is a standard feature that you can have also for your own application. Okay, so let's get back to the home page now. And now we're going to see how you can use the same tutorial locally in your Fox Pro desktop. Okay, so let's move to the desktop here. So we are now in the what we call a FoxInCloud Web Application Studio. It's been installed. Maybe you want to see if you want to understand how to do that, you can go to the FoxInCloud blog. Let's go to FoxInCloud. No, it's the same. It's a local blog, but it's exactly the same. And you can just check out this article, Managing Your FoxInCloud Project. And in this blog post, you will see how to install FoxInCloud, the FoxInCloud Application Assistant, and how to install IIS on your computer, and how to install FoxInCloud Web Application Studio on your computer too. Okay, so let's just go. Just go to this blog post, and you will understand how to do that. So now because we have installed FoxInCloud, and we have started FoxInCloud with the shortcut that we have on our desktop. We now have a FoxInCloud menu item, and in this FoxInCloud menu item, as you can see, you have many options. I can't. Let me do this differently. Yeah, I can normally. Yeah, I can. Well, test application, live tutorial, and now first we're going to use the desktop version. So the desktop version, just to see, we are Fox Pro developers, so we need to see what's going on the desktop. And as you can see, you have two things popping up. You have the home page, and you have the project that is popping up inside the VFP ID. So if you want to use the project, you can do. I'm sure you're going to recognize this form. It's the same as we had in online a minute ago. We have the checkbox, the command button. We can change the state, enable, read only, hide. Oh, you remember all this, don't you? Okay, so we also have this form, which is the same as you had, and everything is the same as what we saw in the web demo a moment ago. The interesting thing is once you've finished, you can see all the documents, like the data update form. You can modify it here, and you can see the code. And simply, you can see the code that's inside. If you're familiar with document view, you can have all the code that is here. And if you have a question about how to do something, you can just go here and see the code, which is always important. You have, of course, you have comments, and you can understand what's going on here. Okay, that's the way you do for the desktop project. And of course, you can also do the same because you've installed the full package, you can do the same for the web project. So let's get back to, you can see here, live tutorial, and now you're gonna, let's take the responsive version, I prefer it. So you go to responsive version, and you go here. So what happens is that you automatically, the browser is displaying with the URL, and also we have the server starting in the FoxInCloud Studio. So now the FoxInCloud Web Application Server has started. As you can see here, if you get down to the bottom, you will see that, okay, everything has started successfully. Okay, you can see the messages here, everything is started. And then you can get to the application itself here, which has loaded now. Now it has loaded. So you can see, let's move this down, for instance, and let's click on a button here. Let's click it. You can see that everything's happening locally in your web application server that you have running on your machine. It's no more online. Now it's on your machine. As you can see, you have the form here that we've seen online. You have the same on your desktop. Okay, so what you can do now is just stop the server, and you will get the project popping up, and you will still have the same data update, for instance, that you can see. Remember, we had stopped on this method. We had closed it on this method. The Fox Pro reopens the same method. So you can see the code as we saw online. Now you have it on your desktop. You can modify. You can see. You can check. You can test. You can understand everything that we've seen online a moment ago. So here we are. I think I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something about the FoxInCloud Live tutorial. We also provide a blog post to make everything clear also by writing. You have it here on my local blog, but you also have it online in a few seconds. Learning FoxInCloud with the FoxInCloud Live tutorial. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice journey with FoxInCloud, and see you next time. Bye-bye.